Proceeding.
We're good, sir. Saturday there was a pandemonium in the House today over a controversial bill by Honorable Bill Ogo, the bill on the immunity for the presiding officers of the both the State House of Assembly and the National House of Assembly. The Honorable Femi opposed to it, stating that it has a wrong timing. What's your view on it, considering that the principal officers of the Senate now are, facing prosecution? Do you think it's the right, thought in the right direction?
First, thank you. There was no pandemonium. There was activity on the floor of the House, and it's expected. You say that floor is a floor for debating and canvassing opinions. And sometimes emotions can rise, in which case you canvass it very stringently and very loudly. And I think this bill excited enough emotion and excitement in members. Yes, the minority leader brought that amendment. It had been introduced today for second reading. And by practice, what happened is to happen. He has to state the general principles or the intentions of what he intended to achieve. And in the course of it, he was supported and also opposed. Or a major person who opposed it was the majority leader, who felt that the timing was wrong, especially for the reason you mentioned. The fact that presiding officers of the Senate are facing charges, and people tend to think that if this law bill is passed now, it could be to protect them. That's, for me, is emotional. I think that the timing is very right, as a matter of fact. But I think it's been too late in coming. If we look at institutions only to serve individuals, then we'll go with that argument. But institutions are to endure and to be preserved and to correct abnormalities as they develop. I think that the facts of what is happening in the Senate is enough reason to tell Nigerians that, of a truth, that amendment should have been there even before now. Nigeria spent so much money and time and resources in running the legislature, just like other arms of government. The legislature is headed by the presiding officers, the two arms. Just like the president heads the executive, the chief justice heads the legislature, like a judiciary. If the presiding officers of the National Assembly are distracted continuously and continually, which is the foundation, the reason for providing immunity for the executive functionaries in the first place, to ensure that for the period they are in office, they focus on what is important, which is to serve the nation. If the executive can focus, remember the executive is only to execute laws that come out from the legislature. If the legislature is allowed to be hampered with the presiding officers being in court, the new Criminal Justice Act as amended says that your trial shall go on from day to day. It means, of course, that continuously you'll be on trial. You could say, well, let somebody else take over. What if somebody takes over? There's no probability that there will be 100% chance that something cannot come up against the next person who takes over. It means that perpetually you are in this harmony, you are in this sequence that the legislature cannot focus, and other arms automatically will suffer. So I think that what's happening with the Senate leadership, presiding officers, is even enough reason for people to realize, no, not Saraki, no, not Ekweremadu, but the presiding officers of the Senate. This place should be stable. It's only when it's stable that the investment of Nigerians can be used to serve the interest of Nigerians. 4 years. Once that person is out, if he has a case, he answers to it, which is exactly the same thing with the executive. 4 years, when you come out, you answer to the question. But in the greater public interest, you are expected to concentrate and focus and serve the interest of the people for that period. You have that privilege of being in that position. It is not the name of the person who is presiding. It is the office that is to be protected. So I think that it's properly timed. In fact, it is even late. Because if he had come when he should have come, what is happening in the Senate wouldn't have been happening. It's a lot of distraction. And we can ill afford it. Remember that whatever decision is taken by the House of Reps, if the Senate does not concur, it does not become taken to have any effect. It cannot be a law. If you pass any bill and they do not concur, it does not become, you can't even send it to President for accent. So it means that if only one arm, one segment of the national action is so hampered, all is hampered. So I think that the people who oppose it are being unduly populist. Remember that sometimes that, especially in lawmaking and governance, populism does not mean effectiveness in most times. Something may be popular because most people do not understand the fundamentals of it. They only take the aspects of propaganda or the analysis that come from people who already have a position. If that is the dominant one out there, most people would accept that, believe that. But if you have both sides equally presented, you find reason to say that sometimes populism is not the same thing as efficiency.
Okay, so some people would argue that there is a kind of a disorderliness, between the Senate and the House of Representatives. For instance, the Senate had a retreat on the 17th of last month, and in this retreat, the Senate President gave an ultimatum of having an acceptable constitution towards the first quarter of 2017. And now, in the House of Representatives, lots of people even disagreed to even passage of this bill that led to the Speaker referring it to an ad hoc committee. Would you say there is unionism or unity among these two arms who are supposed to work together?
No, you have to first understand the process. What came up on the floor today was not for debate to amend the Constitution. It is for debate to accept a proposal that will send to the ad hoc committee. The process of constitutional amendment is that any proposal a member brings is taken at first reading, taken at second reading, and sent to the ad hoc committee, which is already set. The Senate committee that met in Lagos, you're talking about last month, is their own ad hoc committee on constitutional amendment. They can have their own time frame. They can have their proposals. It does not mean because they had a retreat that if another senator brings another proposal today, that it will not be sent also to that committee. And the fact that they've had that retreat does not also mean that they are faster than the committee of the House. There's nothing that happened there that has shown that they will come out earlier, faster, or more effective than the ad hoc committee of the House. The process is that until the ad hoc committee starts sitting, considering all that has been sent to them, members are still free to introduce fresh proposals for amendment of the Constitution. So there's no question of disharmony, and as a matter of fact, they're not supposed to be working together as in moving together, but they work together as in bringing a collation of all their inputs later for harmonization by both chambers.
Okay, sir. During the rowdy section of the House today at the plenary, some of the members were calling the committee chairman on appropriation, Honorable Jibril Abdulmumun. They were referring to him as thief. How would you react or comment to that, alleged, defamation? Hence, the court has not convicted him of that crime. How would you react to that?
First, let me say, you just mentioned rowdy session. If it's rowdiness, then of course it means you may not even be sure of what you are saying, that it was thief, they said. I didn't hear thief. Maybe you are journalist, but more focused, you had thief. I do not believe that any member will call another member thief. If that's happened, that will be unfortunate. That will not be proper. That will not be right. But talking about defamation, there is no defamation on the floor of the legislature. The law, the greatest protection the law has given is that no member can be charged for any word used on the floor of the legislature. So there's no question of defamation. It doesn't come there. But I also are of the view that I didn't hear people calling him thief. If that is done, that's unfortunate. That is not proper. And I'm sure, I know he's not a thief. If he were a thief, he wouldn't be in the house, because that's one demeanor that the Constitution has effectively said, that if you are a thief, like you said, means there's a conviction on your head that says you are a thief, you couldn't be on the floor. So the fact that he's a member, a second-term member, tells you and convinces you that he's not a thief. There may be problems where people meet and where people live together, but that's, I'm sure, is totally internal, and within members, if there was any issue, I'm sure they'll resolve them.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, sir. But we'd like you to tell the audience who we're meeting with, apart from knowing you officially as Honorable Linus Okori.
Yes.
Would like to know who is this man behind the official, name that we know him for.
No, as you just mentioned, I'm Honorable Linus Okori, and I represent us on the Chaivo constituency, Ebonyi State, and returning member, second-term member of the House, and I am professionally a chartered accountant, fellow of this chartered accountant, and by the grace of God and the Speaker, I'm the chairman of the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions. Commitment is my people, and the ordinary people. I represent a very rural constituency, so when I talk about my people, I talk about my constituents and people who feel the same type of pains and needs that we do. And we hope that going forward, things will get better for Nigeria, so that Nigerians can have a better feel of democracy, which is take away poverty, take away ignorance, provide better education, and social justice. And as a matter of fact, we want a better structured Nigeria.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time once more.
Thank you.